What do you need to do to be ready to go from practice associate to practice owner? Aunt or uncle of the practice, as I like to say, Paul, Dr. Nacho Goodman, to parent of the practice. I have the awesome Stephen Trutter here of Ideal Practices, amazing Nacho sponsor and friend. So Stephen, you're going to share with us, this is such great value. What does an associate need to start thinking about over the next 90 days to prepare for practice ownership? So you could start sharing with us, give a little context of who you are. We're really excited to have you.
Paul, great to be here. Great to be a sponsor of the Dental Nachos community. And I've worked with so many of the Nacho community that's out there. So great to be here on this Friday morning. I'm president of Ideal Practices. We help set up and start successful dental practices and help navigate associates and give them the guidance to open up successful startup practices all over the country. So today, what I want to be able to do is there are three big things that I want everyone to start thinking about. If you're an associate thinking about, I want to start up a practice, I'm going to give you kind of a 90-day map or 90-day launch pad of like, what are the three areas that you need to think about right now today over the next 90 days in order to take those first steps forward into practice ownership.
Now, Stephen, before you start, you said something about, you said steps, right? You said steps. So I want to share with you, sometimes dads don't have time to work out and I got to get in shape for this summer. So I want to share with you, I have now, while you talk, do the work, my team has bought me a walking treadmill. So I'm not crazy back here. Look at this. So I can take the steps to get into better shape while you give us the steps to practice ownership. I'm ready for you, Stephen.
All right, Paul, I guess I'll just do like
burpees
or something. So I got three main areas. I want to talk about employment agreements. What do you need to do financially? And lastly, what is timeline? What do you need to prepare? So first off is understand what's inside of your employment agreement. Many of you may have great employment agreements. Some of you may have bad ones. And some of you have no clue what's inside of your employment agreements. There are big things that you need to understand. Number one, what's your non-compete say? If you want to start up a practice or be a practice owner in an area, but you already have blocked yourself out because you're in the wrong area, guess what? That non-compete is going to have an effect. Now
wait, Stephen, we're gonna have a fun, fast-paced show, but I want to jump in. Yeah. I'm the Nacho guy. Hey, Stephen, I heard non-competes are not enforceable. Can I just say, hey, no one's going to enforce this? Why is a non-compete such a big problem in an employment agreement when you go to start off? Lee Spang, tell us about that.
Oh, it's huge. Now, in some states, I'm not an attorney, but we have great attorneys that we know.
Yeah.
Not all non-competes in all states are applicable, but in a lot of states, non-competes are applicable and they are enforceable. Now, you could play the game of chicken with an employer and say, maybe they'll not come after me. You roll the dice. I always say, don't go against a non-compete or employment agreement because even if you win, you will lose. Yeah. You will spend time and money no matter what. So in certain states like California, they're not enforceable. You can't have non-competes. Most other states, they can be. And depending on what's in your language, I'm kind of painting a broad stroke of the brush, that non-compete could prevent you from starting maybe in an ideal area where you want to open your practice.
Such great value, so important.
Yeah. The other big thing that I'm seeing with employment agreements, Paul, is this agreement. Basically, inside your employment agreement, most agreements are what's called an at-will agreement. What does that mean? You can go in there and say it's 90 days or whatever it says in your agreement and say, I want to quit this associate position. I want to move on. Employers have gotten really wise. If your agreement doesn't have a clause that says terminate without cause, that means whatever the length and term of that agreement, if it's a one-year agreement, if you quit early, you are in breach of your agreement.
Right.
And they can come after you for damages. So make sure you understand what's in your agreement. And big thing about employment agreements, please pay an attorney to review this because it may cost you $1,000, but what is your
and Stephen, I'm just going to jump in with I'm a dad on a walking treadmill. Your dad. Here's the PSA. You invested 4 years of your life and $500,000 to go to dental school. You're going to get a dental practice that's going to serve you yourself. Don't be dentist cheap about your employment agreements. Nothing bad happens. Either Rob Montgomery, my amazing amigo, and your amigo says, hey, this is a good agreement. Maybe you want to tweak this, but it looks good. That's worth $1,000 or $1,500. Or they say there's 14 red flags and we didn't get to page 2 yet. You want to run from something like this. So that value is so key. Do not be dentist cheap about the biggest decision in your life. Get an attorney to review all contracts, but especially your employment agreement.
They are negotiable. They are. Yeah. We've moved agreements many times. They are negotiable. Don't just take what's written on paper and say, I have to sign.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love that.
Good stuff. 100%. Financially, what do you need to prepare? What are banks looking for today? They're looking for obviously good credit, but they're looking for Paul cash.
Yeah.
So in the next 90 days, associates, if you're thinking about practice ownership, startup or acquisition, whatever that path is, understand banks want you to have about 10% in liquid assets available in order for you to get the best lending solution. If you don't, next 90 days, start socking money away. Stop paying extra on your student loans. They'll pay off over time. But if you're sacrificing cash to think you're going to pay down your student loans fast, then you're actually sacrificing your future of practice ownership, and you're delaying that ability because you're not putting cash away. Cash is king. Cash is absolutely king when it comes to
so great, Stephen. Don't overpay your student loans because you need to save. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. I'll put you on the Nacho hotspot. Stephen, when you play golf, what do you shoot most of the time within 10 strokes? Most of the time. Give me 85, 95, 75, 85. Give me
85.
Those 10.
85.
So 85, so 80 to 90 probably, right? 80 to 90. So I'm going to ask our audience, because this is valuable, and dentists don't like to be pinned down. I know startup people. What is the range of a startup loan most of the time within $100,000? What is that range, would you say?
600 in today's environment, 600, 700,000.
So that just helps our audience. You want to have $60,000 to $70,000 in non-retirement assets. I know someone might chime in and say, but I heard banks give you any money you want, whether you have $0. There's some possibility of that, but you want to be practical. And what you said is, this is the best for your terms and also your emotional security too, because you want to have this money for yourself. So that's serious. So financially, 10% liquid assets for practice, and you're saying $600,000 to $700,000 hits the most for startup loans. Love it.
Absolutely. Having that liquid assets will also be good for you personally, because even when you quit your associate position, it's not like all of a sudden you're producing dentistry here and you're collecting dentistry. There's a timeline between producing dentistry in some cases and collecting dentistry. Right. That timeline, you need to bridge that gap. And so you need to understand your own personal financial obligations, but 10% kind of rule of thumb with most banks will put you in the best environment for the best conditions and give you the highest approval ratings as well.
Nice. So that's number one. We talked about knowing your employment agreement. Number two, prepare yourself financially. What's our third topping from Stephen Trotter? Topping from Trotter. I like that. What's our third topic?
Topic from Trotter on Friday. It's timeline, Paul. I want everyone to think about this. Where do you want to be 12 to 18 months from now? Do you want to be a practice worker, or do you want to be a practice owner? That's the timeline from today for liftoff in order to own your own successful practice. And we talk about this in our course, which I'll talk more about like when we have our course 2 days, twice a year. But this timeline it's going to come up. Many of you, and I've talked with clients before, it's like you're pushing the button, you're the time clock, the timestamp every single day. It's like the old commercials, the time to make the donuts, the old Dunkin' Donuts commercials, Paul. It's like, you may feel like that. You don't have to feel like that. If you feel that pain of like, oh, what do I need to do? It's time to jump. It's time to take that first leap. Because
let me just ask you to clarify, because you how many startups have you helped open, Stephen?
Over 850 by the end of the year. I'll be
so what I think
900.
is so cool about that, and I mean, I know acquisitions are better than startups, you agree, and I've helped people buy practice, not 800, but I'm saying they're both good. You get to help a person with the biggest career decision of their life, right? So you have 800 people that Stephen Trotter is a big deal to them. I still know, it was funny, when we delivered our first child, she said, the person delivering said, I write down, this is my 750th, and I've never had a Daphne before, right? So delivering a baby, starting a startup. So you have these relationships with people that you've helped make these giant decisions. Just tell me a little more about, over the next 90 days, think about where you want to be in 12 to 18 months. Just deepen that a little bit. Is that geographically? Is that where you are in your career? It might be both, but just tell us a little more about that.
I think a lot of it will come down to two areas. I think, geographically, because some of you may be thinking, do I want to be here? Do I want to be in this specific area? More importantly, what do you want to have in life? Because the sooner you get the market, any entrepreneur will tell you, the faster you get the market, the faster you're making your own path. If you're not fulfilled in private in where you're working, whether it's DSO in a private practice, and you're just tired of working for somebody else, it's time to take the leap. And I can tell you stories about clients that have taken that leap in the times that we're at. And it's about knowing where you are financially in order to take that leap, and also understanding that employment agreement to say, okay, great, where's my next step? And a great step would be, to explore more in terms of like, what else is available? What goes into a startup? And
Right.
we have conversations, things like that.
Do it with purpose. I mean, one of the things I'll share as we wrap up, I want to tell a few success stories. One of my favorite people, Dr. Ashley Dawson, came to New Dentist Boost Camp 1 in 2018. She's amazing. And she met Jamie Amos, your partner, and she just opened her startup in 2021, right? I mean, she opened it in 2021 with you guys. So that's 3 years, right? So I don't want people to think this has to be an overnight thing to get to their startup. But what should happen now is start thinking and planning over the next 90 days. There's 2 things I want to ask you about what you guys do as ideal practices. So we have a new team member helping us, Stephen. So if we cut this out of the video and said to our team member, what does ideal practices, what does Jamie Amos and Stephen Trutter do in under 10 sentences? What do you guys do?
Provide the path for fulfillment and private practice ownership.
And just show up, because I'm a dentist of details, it's startup practices, right? You guys don't do
startup practices. We start up successful, underline the word successful. You don't need me to open a practice. You want a successful practice. We help provide the path for a successful startup practice everywhere in the country.
And then just give us a little bit of, we went to school, you had the intro, the body of a paper, the conclusion. Give me a little body. What are some of the things that you do and manage? Finding the space, lease, getting the chairs, blue.
Absolutely.
No one has carpet anymore. So now I say, tell us just a few of the things you guys do through this process.
It's a 13-stage process, Paul, and we go through in depth. It's customized to every single one of our clients. We talk about what is their vision for the fulfillment in their practice. What do they want to be? Who do they want to be on a long-term basis? We make sure that we understand all the market analysis from an in-depth demographical study perspective related to the individual client, floor planning, equipment construction, and then we design all the interior protocol and systems for the practice, and then negotiations for real estate, financing, make sure all the financial stuff is there, make sure the financial guidelines.
So you guys basically go, I go on a golf trip with my friends, and I'm one of the ones, probably not surprising, that takes care of some of the boring details, like the tee time, right? My friends can't enjoy golf without a tee time. They go, who made the tee time? Paul did it. So you guys take care of everything from the dream building to a lot of times the fundamental or mundane details that are necessary to open up a practice.
We do the intangible and the tangible. You got the intangible, like who they want to be, and the tangible of the heavy lifting of systems and protocol and equipment and construction and floor plans and real estate and financing and insurance credentialing, all those things.
What I think you do is too amazing. It's too good. You have raving fans. Now we have a couple offers. One, you guys have a book through the Nacho sponsorship. If you text the word startup to 215-543-6454, my team will put that into the Zoom chat and the Facebook chat. But if you text startup to 215-543-6454, tell me about this book. And I know you have a great deal on it. What's in the book and how much is it?
$1.99 for the Nachos community, Paul. And this book is going to give you, it's called Choosing the Right Location. It's the fundamental steps of understanding how to choose the ideal location. Location is one of the top criteria of any startup of where you want to be and what is the best area for you. So we go in depth into that topic throughout this entire book.
And what I'll share, and it's like you want to pick locations for things in your life that make sense for you personally, make sense for you professionally. While I'm sure that you can open up a Mexican restaurant directly next to Alves, if there was start your own restaurant, they might say, hey, let's think about some reasons why that would be possible and why that might be impractical. Now, then we also have this really amazing offer. You're offering 2 scholarships for free to a course coming up in April. First, when is the course? And when is the course? Where is it? And what are they going to learn?
It's in April. The dates, I have to look on the dates, but 2 scholarships. Twice a year, we do what's called a startup practice blueprint. This is where we take our 13 stages process and we basically give it away for over a 2-day period, and we unfold it and we go in depth on all the topics that we review. And so I could tell you about hundreds of attendees that have come to this event. So twice a year we do these. They're 2-day events. It's a Friday and a Saturday. It's in Orlando. When we're giving away 2 scholarships for the Nachos community. This is we
got so excited, Stephen, Stephen's internet, you got so excited by his scholarship offer. He's on break here. But what I want to share while waiting for Stephen is there's 2 free tickets to this event in April. These are the events that the Stephen, you froze for a minute, so I was being you. So I was saying that I was saying that these are the events that Dr. Ashley Dawson's, the Dr. Lindsay Cascosos, these are the events they go to take the next step and find out about the process over these 2 days. It's in April with Jamie, Steven, and their awesome Ideal Praxis team, awesome sponsor. We're going to be raffling off 2 free tickets to this today. So watch our text community. The only way to get one of these free tickets is to be in our text community. If you want to make sure you are going to get an opportunity to win one of these tickets today, text the word startup to 215-543-6. Right, Stephen, I was saying these are the events that the Lindsays and the Ashleys and the Andrews go to take the next step and find out. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. 2-day event, 2 scholarships. It's only 25 seats. So this is a small group. Seats are filling up. So I got 2 scholarships for the Nachos community. For everybody, go to startuppracticeblueprint.com, startuppracticeblueprint.com to register. And then when you register, please mention the word nachos or dental nachos in there, and you will qualify for that scholarship.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephen. We really appreciate you doing this. You guys are fantastic. We got to play golf sometime soon. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Paul.